What's up, everybody? Wild, I mean wild week 3 NFL. We gonna get into it. Brandon, how we doing today?
Um, not too good, but I'm here. As a Ravens fan, not good, but yeah, we'll talk about that. That's our last game to discuss. I put it at the end for a reason. How
All
about
right.
yourself?
I'm not, victory Tuesday
Yeah,
for
you got a
me.
victory. Yeah,
So yeah, we're glad we were able to bounce back from how we looked Thursday night football last week. So, but yeah, let's get into it.
true. We got a lot to unpack here. The Giants, they're planning to start Jackson Dart on Sunday against the Chargers at home. Raheem Morris says Michael Penix Jr. is still QB1 after Sunday's shutout against Carolina. Titans head coach Brian Callahan, he's giving up his offensive play calling duties. Quarterback coach Bo Hardigree will assume the role moving forward. Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh quarterback, he surpasses former teammate Brett Favre on the all-time passing touchdown list. He now only sits behind Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning. We got a lot of guys that are ending their seasons. Unfortunately, because of injury, Cardinals running back James Conner, 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa, Browns offensive tackle DeJuan Jones, and Chargers running back Najee Harris all out for the season. Mike Evans, he's expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks. Jets linebacker Quincy Williams, he will miss at least 4 games as he was sent to IR. Veteran safety Darnell Savage, he's signing with Ed's Commanders. Mike Hilton, the cornerback, he's signed with the Colts. The Texans decided to cut cornerback safety CJ Gardner Johnson. Former Bengals running back Rudy Johnson. He's passed away. He was a beast, man. I ain't gonna lie, low key, man. I hated facing him. Um, and former Pats, Texans, and Dolphins executive Bobby Greer has passed away at the age of 82. He's also the father of Dolphins general manager Chris Greer. Any thoughts on the opening drive in?
Yeah, rest in peace to all those who passed away, Rudy Johnson and Bobby Greer, as you mentioned. Good luck to Jackson Dart. He's got a tough task next week when he plays the Chargers at home. See how that goes. I'm not sure if anybody's expecting too much from him, but it's better to start him. I guess now I think they're getting one of their starting linemen back too. One of their tackles. I can't remember his name top of my head, but yeah. Salute to Aaron Rodgers for passing Brett Favre on the all-time passing touchdown list as well. That was pretty cool to see history like that. But yeah, it was tough watching that. When Najee Harris went down, I was watching that and I saw that live. Well, I saw it on NFL Red Zone. I was like, ah, man, that sucks. It's tough to go out to them. Good thing they got the win, but yeah, that was tough. See how that looks for them going forward. But yeah,
Yeah, real quick, James Conner going down for the Cardinals. He's the heart and soul of that offense. I think they're going to miss him dearly. Hopefully, they can rebound off of this week here and get back in the win column next week. But switching gears, everyone, what a game at the Lynx Sunday afternoon. The Eagles won on a blocked field goal return for a touchdown as the clock ticked down to zero. Ed, the floor is yours.
yeah. I've been saying a little bit. Good teams find ways to win games. It looks like Eagles are starting to be one of those teams that they starting to win so much. Like the Patriots, like the Chiefs, where I don't want to say lucky shit happens, but or fluke shit happens, but they find ways to win games. I kind of thought I wanted to see what would happen. I mentioned it last week of how I want to see what would happen if the Eagles had to like play from behind, go down 10, and if Jalen Hurts is going to be able to throw the ball. And that's exactly what happened. They were actually down 26-7, and then AJ Brown, Devonta Smith turned into security blankets. They started to make plays, especially not first or the second half late in the game. Let's get back to the first half, though. I thought Matt Stafford would get a turnover. I thought it would happen late in the game. It actually happened on pretty much their first drive. He threw a pick. Zach Bond picked the ball off, and Eagles were able to get the ball. That freaking tush push again. They mentioned it again in this game where it looks like one of the offensive linemen false started, moved before the ball was snapped. I saw one of the announcers, circle it and show the player going off false starting. So I wonder if the NFL is going to do anything about this. I'm not sure, but we'll see. But yeah, that first half was pretty much all Rams. The first half, Kyron Williams, he was getting about 6 yards per carry. Then the second half, the defense for the Eagles tightened up a lot. Rams were shut out. They scored 26 points the first half. The final score was 33-26, ladies and gentlemen. Second half, third quarter started. The second half, pretty much AJ Brown, Devonta Smith were doing their thing, man. I mean, they came out the second half. Hurts connected with AJ Brown on the touchdown in the third quarter. That drive, they had a another freaking push conversion on third quarter and it was on a fourth down too. Then the first of two freaking blocked field goals happened for the Eagles against the Rams. First one was early in the fourth quarter. The next freaking drive, AJ Brown, he had some big catches. Big 3rd and 10 catches. That's what I meant when he was a security blanket. Him and Devonta Smith had a catch on a 3rd and 10. He was able to break tackles too and get more yards and keeping that drive alive. It was like the middle of the fourth quarter. It was a huge momentum swing, I think, in my opinion, for the Eagles too. And around that point, that's when Devonta Smith and AJ Brown started taking over. Because that same drive, there was another 3rd and 10 catch that AJ Brown had. And then they capped it off of that long drive. I think it was about 14 plays with a Devonta Smith touchdown. And at that point, it's about 1:48 left in the game. I was thinking, okay, it's time for the Rams to break these clowns' hearts. I was wrong. They broke my freaking heart. Eagles blocked the field goal. Jordan Davis, he is able to return it for a touchdown. They talk about how he's transformed his body and lost weight. So I got to worry about him. I got to worry about this freaking guy, Jalen Carter, who now is wearing Jared Verse's chain because I guess they had some bet before the game and blah, blah, blah. And I got to worry about Jordan Davis. So just great. Eagles beat the Rams 33-26. I'm real happy about it. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
So Chris Berman used to say one-man wrecking crew, and that's what Jordan Davis was on that final play. He got the penetration, got his hands up, blocked the kick, recovered it, and returned it for the touchdown. That added to his stat sheet. He was the only guy to get to Matthew Stafford in this game. The Rams got to go back to the drawing board because they lost this game after being up, as you mentioned, 26-7 in the third quarter. They got that Kyron Williams touchdown, and from there it was all Philly. They finished with touchdown drives of 79, 87, and 91 yards. Just basically took the soul out of this Rams team. You could tell the Rams defenders, they were tired later in that game. Guys were holding their hands on their chests. Hands on their hips in between plays. A lot of late game yardage there for the Eagles. Philly offensive coordinator, the new guy, Kevin Patula, Jalen Hurts, they came out with a different game plan this week. They, especially in the second half, I guess they really had to at that point to attack the Rams secondary. I thought that it wouldn't get going. I really didn't. I really didn't think that this Eagles passing attack would get going in week 3. I thought they, at least was going to have to wait until next week to get going. But as you mentioned, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith really got things going there in the second half. They were catching everything that was coming their direction. In the end, biggest coming back for the Eagles since their game against my father's Giants when Deshaun Jackson ran back that punt return for a touchdown years ago. There, I believe, was at MetLife or at Giants Stadium, whatever it was called back then. But either way, great comeback win for the Eagles, 3-0, undefeated at home. Yeah. Rams, though, they're still a good team, though. They're still going to be formidable.
Yeah, they're definitely going to make some noise before it's all said and done. All right, before we get going with the next recap, this episode is brought to you by Premium, a CBD and wellness company. Check out their full line of CBD-infused products, which make great stocking stuffers for the upcoming holiday season. Perfect for athletes, weekend warriors, soccer moms, and even armchair quarterbacks. They have CBD-infused honey, which is a personal favorite, as well as tinctures and mint and regular flavor. Most importantly, they are veteran and women-owned, so come get some of this sweet temptation and taste a premium difference. Use code B&E for 15% off your first order. Their website is premium.com, And now let's get back to our show. Probably one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset of the week. Pretty glad about it too, actually. Browns beat the Packers 13-10. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this game?
Every once in a while, the Browns beat an unbeaten NFC team in an upset. Upset. Think back to a couple years ago. It was October 15, 2023. The 49ers came to Cleveland. They were 5-0, clicking on all cylinders, and the Browns beat them 19-17. San Fran missed a field goal at the end. Now to Sunday, a couple days ago, Ed texted me during this game. He said the Browns might mess around and win this one. Not verbatim. I can't remember exactly what you said, but basically it was that. And I said, don't hold your breath. And I was wrong. Green Bay lost this game because of the late game shaky play of Jordan Love. Grant Deplet, he picked off Jordan Love with 3:18 left in the game, returned it down to the Green Bay 4-yard line. Quinshawn Judkins, the rookie second rounder, I believe he is. He ran it in 2 plays later. Um, this is why I didn't change my pick for the NFC North for who was going to win this division even after they acquired Micah Parsons, because plays like this, this Jordan Love turnover. They got a really good squad, but I love Jordan Love. I've been high on him. I picked him to be my MVP a couple years ago. It's like in big moments, he doesn't make good decisions with the football. We know Cleveland's defense is good. They had another 5 sacks on Sunday. They also limited that Green Bay running game, finished with 81 yards on the ground. Jacobs was the leading rusher, only 30 yards. That's really saying something for that Cleveland defense. I thought at the very least Green Bay would be able to run the ball. But we never know what we're going to get with them. Green Bay, it looks like at this point. Packers was shut out in the fourth quarter. Cleveland got that field goal as time expired from 55 yards out, and the Browns snapped an 8-game losing streak, which dated back to last November, the 21st of November, to be exact. Ed, what are your thoughts on this one?
I kind of went against my own rule to not bet against the Browns. I kind of mentioned it last week. I said we don't know. It could be Joe Fluco or it could be Joe Flacco out there. Not saying he was like the difference maker, but just the Browns team overall, you never know what you're gonna get. I remember it was either the last season or the season before we were talking about the Browns against the Bengals, and we both thought the Browns were gonna, or both thought the Bengals were gonna go out there and beat the snot out of them, but the Bengals actually lost that game. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I can't bet against the Browns anymore. I just try to avoid them. I went against our rule. I thought this was a no-brainer pick. I'm pretty sure a lot of the sports better out there too
Yep.
thought the same thing with Packers winning this game. I think they were one of the biggest spreads of that week as well. Last time the Browns beat the Packers, we were both in high school giving a certain teacher hell, if you know what I'm talking about, Brandon. Last time the Browns won against the Packers was 2005, man. As you mentioned, Cleveland Browns defense showed up in this game. You talked about Jordan Love throwing that pick late in the game. Great play by Delpit, as you mentioned. That snapped a nine game streak that Jordan Love had consecutive game without an interception. So we'll see how he looks going forward, if this leads to a trend or if he can get back on the right track of not turning the ball over for those 9 games. But got to give a little shout out to the rookie kicker for the Browns, Andre Smith, if I said that correctly, hitting that 55-yard field goal as time expired. Because I think it was the first week he had a very, very rough week out there, missing a couple of field goals. Definitely probably had a chance to win that game too. And then I want to give a shout out to the special teams for the Browns as a whole. They blocked the field goal against the Packers as well. So salute to the special teams. They played better this week. Special teams as a whole in the NFL, there's a lot of craziness going on. We mentioned in the first game, something happened in this game as well. But yeah, it's just craziness. Well, like you said, man, that defense showed up. You talk about the run game for the Packers. Josh Jacobs, as you'll see across the screen, 16 carries, only about 30 yards. And then a rookie running back for the Browns, he had some impact plays out there as well. So I'm interested to see how the Browns are going for it. If this was just one of those one-off, you never know what you're going to get from the Browns, or will they continue to build off this? I am interested to see what the quarterback situation is going to look like. Joe Flacco hasn't, exactly been spectacular out there. So we'll see if they'll make a change or not, how that goes. But yeah, great win for the Browns. I'm glad they were able to humble the Packers, who came in there after a dominating performance over my Commanders last week. I don't know if they took the Browns lightly or not, but they definitely got roughed up out there. So salute to the Browns for winning that game.
All right. Two NFC West rivals produced a great games in Sunday's late window. The Cardinals and 49ers. Ed, it was the Niners that came out on top.
Yeah, I was leaning towards the Niners in this one. I had a feeling that it would come down to the end. I've said the first two games of the season for the Cardinals, they kind of had trouble closing out games. It wasn't a game where they close it out, but they definitely lost it. Defensive game, man. First points of the game, field goal by the Cardinals about halfway in the second quarter. And then to get to the half, the Niners led 6-3 going into the half. Uh, Marvin Harrison, there was a kind of, I don't want to say viral interview, but he had an interview with reporters after the game talking about his struggles. Had a huge drop early in the third quarter that could have swung momentum. I'm not sure if he would have scored in that play, but if he would have caught the ball, he would have had wide open space. He might have got caught from behind just because he had to turn around and catch the ball. It wasn't really a catch he would have made in stride, but he has the type of speed, in my opinion, where he could, break it for the end zone. But he dropped that ball. He also dropped a potential touchdown pass later in the game, and both of those plays contributed, in my opinion, to the Cardinals losing this game. Same times you mentioned in the opening drive, James Conner left the game. He was hit up high and he was hit down low, contributing to that lower leg injury, ankle foot injury. He's going to be out for the season. That same drive where he was out, he got knocked out of the game. Their backup running back came in, crucial drop on third down, and they were in the red zone at this point. They had to kick a field goal. The running back, DeMarcado, he dropped a pass from Kyler Murray. If he would have caught that pass, there's a chance he could have scored. And who knows how things would have went up at that point. That particular drive, by the way, I think that was like a 14-play drive for the Cardinals. Ended up with a field goal at that point, tied the game in the middle of the third quarter. So yeah, man, I don't know. Both, like I said, both defenses made plays in this game. Cardinals had a huge fourth down stop in the at the end of the third quarter. McCaffrey tried to catch a pass from your boy Mac and Cheese. He got lit up by Wilson Sr. From the Cardinals. I mean, he just power drive, steamrolled him. That was a really great defensive play. Kind of got me out my seat as I was watching this game. Both offenses finally scored in the fourth quarter. The game was 13-13 at that point. About 5 minutes left in the game, Mac Jones got picked off. The pass, I think it was tipped, if I'm not mistaken. But Cardinals get the ball back. They didn't do anything with it on their possession. They had to end up punting. But as they punted the ball, Niners get the ball back. They're deep in their own part of the field. They get a holding penalty in the end zone, safety. Now the Cardinals is up 15-13. They get the ball back. Cardinals, unfortunately, they weren't able to make a play. Niners are able to stop them. Third down, a conversion for the Cardinals was kind of a drop, but at the same time, the defender was able for the Niners was able to come in and make a play on the ball. But I think I can't remember the receiver's name for the Cardinals, but he could have made a play on the ball, but he just dropped it. That gave opportunity for the Niners to come back. They were to drive down the field and kick the game-winning field goal. So it kind of, in a way, Cardinals weren't able to close the game out. They had a chance to, but they couldn't. And as I thought, it kind of bit them in the foot. But Brandon, what were your thoughts on this game, man?
So, who's been the best offensive player for San Fran since October 22nd, 2020 through to Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Arizona's defense had no answer for him, especially in the past game and especially on this final drive. I'm going to talk about it for a second. San Fran, second and 10, 25 seconds left. Mac Jones, he took the snap. He couldn't find anybody open. Defense was all over Arizona's defense except for over reliable C-Mac. He was out in the flat. scampers for 20 yards. They spike the ball. Um, Jones kneels on it to make sure that he tries to get it. The very next play, he kneels on it, but goes, dives forward to get the ball right in the middle of the field to set up his field goal kicker. Eddie Pinero clears the uprights from 35 yards out. It would have been a 55-yarder if they had stopped um, Christian McCaffrey or had somebody. I mean, there was a couple guys in the area when he caught that ball, but if they had stopped him there, who knows what would have happened third or fourth down at that point. But they were kind of backed up at that point. Late game miscues, as you mentioned, has cost the Cardinals this win on Sunday, as well as nearly another win in week two. Got to give credit to San Fran, though. Still without Ayuk. They were missing Kittle in this one again. Brock Purdy was out. The defense is still adjusting to, new multiple pieces, but here they are 3-0. So hats off to the San Francisco 49ers. Again, I like the Arizona Cardinals. They're my sleeper in the NFC. I think they're still going to make some noise, but they got to be able to fix these late game miscues that they've got. It's either penalties or, defensive breakdowns, something that's continuously in the first 3 weeks that have put them behind the eight ball. And luckily they're not, sitting there 0-3, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, for real. All right, NFC West. Let's go over to the AFC West. Shall we? Chargers beat the Broncos 23-20. Last time the Chargers were 3-0 was 2002. Pretty sure both of us were in middle school at this point. All three wins against AFC West opponents. So Chargers looking pretty good right now, man. Uh, Definitely a tough loss though with the torn Achilles of Najee Harris. Backup running back for them. I thought, he was going to find his stride as the season went along, but they'll definitely have to make adjustments for that. But I'm going to pick it up in the mid-second quarter. Herbert was picked off on a tip pass. Broncos didn't do anything when that next possession. And then when the Chargers get the ball back, that's unfortunately when Najee Harris went down with the torn Achilles. If you see the play, you can see him immediately as the ball was snapped. You see him go down. Justin Herbert kind of looks at him, and he throws a completion. But that was really tough. I was like, man, you could tell right away when it's a non-contact injury is usually not a good sign. And you can see him. He kind of knew what it was too. But yeah, fortunately for the Chargers, they were able to score on that drive. Had a great throw and catch. I want to salute Quentin Johnson, by the way. He's really stepped his game up. Started happening last year, but this year, going into this year, he's played really good. He had a great catch that was thrown by Justin Herbert. Set off with Amari on the Hampton score. At this point, Chargers go up 10-zip. Broncos were able to cut the lead to 3. Bo Nix had a nice throw, 52-yard touchdown pass to Cortland Sutton. Cut the lead to 10-7 going into the second half. J.K. Dobbins, if everybody remembers, he played with the Chargers last year. He was motivated to play. That next half coming in, he looked pretty motivated out there. He had a nice run to get them in scoring position. And then a little later in that drive, he had a nice catch and run where he was able to score a touchdown. At that point, Broncos go up 14-10. And then after they scored a touchdown, Broncos kick the ball off. Chargers fumble on the kickoff return, and they get the ball back. The Broncos did. They were to score 3 points. So at this point, they were up 17-10. So it was looking pretty good for the Broncos, but the Chargers able to battle back. They added 3 points, and then it was 13-17 going into the fourth quarter. Broncos able to score another 3 points, so it was 20-13 for the Broncos, but Chargers were able to battle back, man. I don't want to call it the bonehead play of the week, but Taylor Hufanga continued to tackle Keenan Allen pretty much after the whistle. It was on third down. That kept the drive going. Chargers was able to score after that. And then, pretty much Chargers were able to get a stop against the Broncos. And then they get the ball back late with not too much time left. And Chargers were able to drive down the field, kick a field goal to win the game. Huge contributions from McConkey and Keenan Allen as well. They both had pretty good catches on that game-winning drive as well. So salute to those guys. And Chargers are 3-0. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this game started slow, but when both quarterbacks started to settle in, it was a hell of a show. I got about 6 plays, some of them that you hit on as well. Najee Harris, he went down on that strange play. Herbert kind of just stepped right over him as he was going backwards um, on the play, got a first down. Amarion Hampton held things down and got his first career touchdown in this game. Knicks came back, hit Sutton wide open right before the halftime. Broncos came alive in the third quarter. Knicks hit Dobbins in the flat. He damn near ran into the end zone untouched for a touchdown. That's where it felt like the momentum was starting to change in Denver's favor, for real. Both teams exchanged field goals late in the fourth quarter. You mentioned that Hufanga play. Um, it was a bonehead play. It definitely qualifies for our bonehead play of the week segment later on in the show. But then Herbert hit Keenan Allen on the run. He crossed his body for a touchdown. Great play by Justin Herbert for that touchdown. Just inside 2 minutes of regulation, Knicks overthrew Sutton. He would have ran in for a touchdown, would have walked in for a touchdown there. But then the Chargers get the ball back for their final drive. They go on an 8-play, 43-yard drive, set up Cameron Dicker for the 43-yard game winner. They was calling him the best kicker in the league on the broadcast heading into that kick and afterwards. So, yeah, as you mentioned, the first time the Chargers are 3-0 in 23 years. Drew Brees was the quarterback back then, my guy. A lot of people don't remember he played for the Chargers way back when. And as you mentioned, all three of these victories are against their own divisions. So that just like gives them even extra cushion heading into what's about to be quarter two, I guess you could say, of the season in a couple weeks as we inch toward um, the month of October.
Yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. It looks like the Chargers could run away with this division, but there's a lot of games left, so we'll definitely see what happens going forward. But so far, it looks like the Chargers are doing their thing. Harbaugh's got them guys playing well for real. Let's go into the Monday night game, Brandon. Very interested to hear your thoughts on this. Lions beat the Ravens 38-30. Brandon, what were your thoughts?
Um, yeah, I've been a Ravens fan since before our first Super Bowl in 2000. Young kid, not knowing much about football at all. I remember going to a yard sale, picking up my first Ravens magnet, and that's where I really fell in love with the team for
Mm,
whatever reason. Um, it's been a long time since I've seen an opposing team dominate our run defense from start to finish, pushing our defensive line back to the secondary on damn near every play, blocking the linebackers very well, just purely imposing their will all in all. Let me just reflect on a few plays that really lost the game for us, in my opinion. The third Detroit drive, they had the ball inside their own 5 yard line after a special teams penalty. I remember texting Ed and I said they're going to go goal line to goal line on this one, and they're going to score. They're going to score a touchdown, and damn it, they did. 18 plays, 11 of those were runs, 98-yard drive. I was ready to fire Zach Orr as our defensive coordinator myself at that point, and I can't even fire him. I could the least qualified person probably in the state of Maryland to fire him, but I was done with him after that point. Okay, we get the ball back on the ensuing drive. Passing game gets going. LJ hits bait on the sideline. 7-man blitz. He just like flawless throw. Tez Walker on the deep left crosser. We're set up in the goal line situation down in the red area. Derrick Henry was stopped 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times inside the Detroit 2 yard line. We got fourth and goal. We go for it. LJ rolls out to the right. Number 46, I didn't even get the guy's who it was. It is in his face. LJ fumbles, but he recovers. His turnover on downs. It honestly looked like the same play, and I've mentioned this a couple times on the show. A couple years ago, we had a fourth down situation inside the red area, and they called timeout, went to the sideline, but it was just LJ and Mark Andrews. So the whole defense knew where the ball was going to go. They came out of the timeout. The defense zeroed in on Mark Andrews. I think it was in triple coverage, and it either got picked off or, either way, the fourth down attempt was unsuccessful. It looked like the same damn play. 4 plays inside the Detroit 3 yard line, and we lose yardage. Unacceptable, man. Then to the fourth quarter, We had we had the ball at our own 20-yard line, turnover. Derrick Henry fumbles on the first play. Hutchinson just punched it out like looked like trying to think of the guy. Was it Patrick Peterson? I think one of those corners that or Charles Tillman used to call
Yep,
him fruit punch or something like that. Yeah,
Peanut Tillman.
yeah, Peanut Tillman looked like him making a play on the ball like that. Later on, 2 minute warning, fourth and a long one. It looked like 2 yard line, 2 yards from the camera angle. Golf hits a play action pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown over Marlon Humphrey for the first down. Plus, they got the holding penalty on Marlon. The
Yep.
very next play, David Montgomery runs it in, 31-yard touchdown, basically put the game away at that point. A lot of thoughts on this one. Special teams coverage, they got to tighten up, man. We set them up several times, and it wasn't like past beyond the 50-yard line, but it was like 35, 40-yard line, 30-yard line. When you have an offense like Detroit, you cannot set them up at that point. You cannot give them any advantage on special teams, much less any advantage at all in the game. Too many sacks, man. I know the wide receivers on some of those sacks were not getting separation. They were just covered like blankets. LJ was running around, and that's where a lot of those sacks came from. I don't think it was too much the offensive line. It was the more so the receivers were just unable to get open for whatever reason. 7 sacks. I think that's the most LJ's ever been sacked, if I remember correctly. Defense, entirely too many rushing yards, man. 224 yards rushing. The number in my head since late last night through earlier today was 225. And I was like, man, okay, we did gain, we did, knock down 1 yard, but that ain't do no damn difference. It was the most since 2017. 204 of those yards were in between the tackles, just an absolute embarrassment. Um, the
Yeah.
whole night I was thinking, where's Kelly Gregg? Where's Tony Saragusa, the late rest in peace Goose? Where's Haloti Nada? Where's those big men when we need them? We really missed Justin Matabikwe, Namdi Matabikwe, he calls himself now. Um, he was a last minute scratch. I didn't even know the man was injured until right before the game when they said he was going to be out. I've said this several times, man. I'd rather give up 450 yards passing, 300 some yards passing, 3 touchdowns. I'd rather have a 2 a day a couple years ago when he hit us for 6 touchdowns than to be dominated on the ground like that. I said, y'all may have remembered on Friday's show or Saturday's show that I said Jahmyr Gibbs cannot have more than 25 to 30 yards rushing at half because they're going to be able to bounce it out and get over 100 yards rushing in the second half at that point. And sure enough, they did. Now, 2 of those plays were very big plays. I think it was the David Montgomery, the 72-yard scamper where he got out. And it was another, well, Jahmyr Gibbs kind of came alive in the second half. But I think the entire defense needs to stay after practice or come in early and do tackling drills all week long because this don't make no sense. We cannot continue to give up this many rushing yards, not even half of this on a regular basis. I mean, I know it's just one game and I'm trying to calm myself down, but that is absolutely ridiculous. That's something that I cannot stand as a defense with the greats again, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Nada, Kelly Gregg, Tony Saragusa, Mike McCrary. I can go on and on, years after years after years. Calais Campbell, guys that we were just absolutely, if not the best in the league, top 5 against the run, and we give up 224 yards on the ground. And then of all teams, next week we got Kansas City, who is damn near the best of exposing your weaknesses. And we'll talk more about this on Friday. They haven't been good on offense, but we put some bad tape on film right now. Some bad a bad outing is on film right now, and Kansas City is probably just sitting back in their team meetings and practices, just getting ready for this game. Just say we're gonna run it down their throat. We're gonna run it down their throat because one thing Zach Orr did not. He barely wanted to get out of the nickel defense, and he does this a lot. And then he also, like some of our previous defense coordinators, he'll blitz our defensive backs
Hmm.
against some of the league's best receivers when some of the league's best receivers are out there. So we're talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably a top 10 receiver in this league. You got J-Mo, probably one of the speediest receivers in the league, and Sam Laporta. That could be arguably one of the best wide receiver tight end duos in the league. Plus, you have one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league in Jared Goff, and you're sending defensive back blitz because we cannot get any penetration at all. I understand on the outside looking in, it makes sense. We had to find ways to get after the quarterback, but on all those plays last night, we got burnt. And it just, something's got to give. One, we got to stop the run. Two, we got to get some damn penetration because we have absolutely no pass rush. Jared Goff was not sacked once last night. After the way that we completely dominated them in 2024, it was mind boggling. And I know it's a difference between last October um, and now. It's a hell. It's two different teams. They lost their coordinators. We've lost guys on the defense. We let guys go. We got D Hop now, on and on. The teams are different. The coaches are different. All that kind of stuff. But that's one thing a lot of people was talking about during the week is that the way that we dominated them 38-6 last year in Baltimore, and then we go out there in a performance like this, and they put up 38 on us, but we did put up 30. Yeah, we got to get it right before Kansas City, and I know it's a short week, but they definitely got to get it right for sure. That's all I got for now. What were your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is another game that I thought y'all would win. I thought y'all would win it kind of comfortably too, but I wasn't expecting, like you said, the domination of the Lions run game. Um, David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs definitely were Sonic and Knuckles out there last night, boy. I tell you, they were definitely collecting all the rings, running
Yep,
all over the field last night. I mean, y'all definitely, you talked about it, Namdi Matabikwe. Yeah, he was definitely missed because it looked like they were running straight up the middle. If I'm not mistaken,
exactly,
defensive tackle, they was running straight up the middle. You talking
exactly.
about no not getting any a good pass rush off on Jared Goff. Looked like Kyle Van Noy was also out in that game too.
Yep,
Definitely could have contributed more. I still haven't heard Mike Green's name yet this
I did.
season. Uh oh.
He got beat last night.
Well, oh, that ain't good. That ain't good. But yeah, man, I don't want to. It was a statement win for the Lions. It's early in the season, but I don't want to have too much concern just yet. I think y'all have time. I want to say y'all defense started out slow last year too, and y'all were able to turn it around. I'm sure y'all will make some changes. Maybe bring some guys in. I don't know, but I feel like y'all will turn things around. Um, but as you mentioned, the 7 sacks on Lamar Jackson, you can't have that happen too often. He's a dual threat type of quarterback. You need to keep him upright and healthy as possible. You don't want to see him taking hits, especially the type of hits he was taking. I know Aiden Hutchinson, as you mentioned, made a play, punched the ball out. He also, if I'm not mistaken, got a sack on Lamar Jackson as well. But yeah, statement win for the Lions. You pretty much covered everything. But I'm surprised I didn't hear Zay Flowers' name. I thought I would hear a little bit more of his name. The first week he had a really big game, career high.
Yeah,
Second week he kind of tailed down. Then this week I think he had like 2 catches. He didn't do too much in this game. There's a lot of Mark Andrews out there. He had 2 touchdowns, but Zay didn't really do too much out there. It was kind of surprising to me. Maybe they game plan for him. I was able to take him out the game, but I was surprised I didn't see Zay Flowers. I thought he would be able to make some plays um, late in the game when y'all needed to have a play happen, but it was either Lamar Jackson running for his life or just Zay not getting the ball. There was one play where I don't know if it was due to pressure. It was you might remember this play. It was like it looked like Zay Flowers was open in the end zone. Lamar just like completely missed him. I was like, man, what happened on that throw? Like it sailed out of the end zone, and there was a defender but he was behind Zay. He could have threw it. It looked like Zay could have caught that pass and scored an easy touchdown. I'm not sure what happened on that play, but yeah, man. Y'all got the Chiefs next week. We'll see how that goes. I feel like after that dominating performance y'all had against the Browns, I don't know if y'all kicked your feet up a little bit or what happened during the week, but y'all definitely weren't ready to play. you texted me. I think you texted me twice about long drives. I remember the first text about
Yep.
you predicted it. He's like these clowns about to give up a 95-yard drive. Then um, I think you texted me again and saw they about to do the same thing again. I
Yep.
think it was Dominique Foxworth. I was listening to Get Up this morning. He was talking about how they gave up two 90-plus yard drives the Ravens did. So definitely that defense has got to play better because y'all put up 30 points. I mean, that's a good amount of points to put up, but scoring 38 and then the Bills scored 41 the first week, definitely got to get that defense under control, man, for sure.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, it was a lot of talk in Ravens social media this week about, or heading into the game, about Mark Andrews and his lack of productivity. So Monday night, it was a lot of Mark Andrews. If you notice, a little bit of Charlie Kohler, the second tight end. He's filling in for Isaiah Likely, and Bateman was catching a lot. And then as far as Mike Green, I went back and found the play. It was a 4th and 1, the first touchdown of the fourth quarter for Detroit. They had the ball at the 4-yard line. They ran an I formation, but they had Amon-Ra St. Brown in the backfield, and Golf
Double
pitched
option.
it. Yep, Golf pitched it to him, and then he threw it to. He pitched it to Gibbs. Green came in and kind of like he was planning to stop, like he was going to go run because he thought that Amon Ross still had the ball, and
Yeah.
before you knew it, Gibbs was running the other way. He turned around and he got burnt 4 yards to the end zone. So yeah, that was the play that Mike Green's name was called, and it definitely was called by me on that one. I don't know about I don't know about Peyton Eli and Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, but he was called by me for sure on that one. Cover your man.
Uh,
Damn. All right, we got some player awards to give out. Who's your offensive player of the weekend?
I gotta show some love to my boy Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts. I was mad earlier. I was talking about Daniel Jones stealing his damn touchdowns. Well, I don't know. Jonathan Taylor heard me, but put up 3 touchdowns, 17 carries, 102 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So salute to Jonathan Taylor. He definitely won me a couple of fantasy football matchups this week. So Jonathan Taylor is my offensive player of the week. How about you?
The Colts offense is getting love right now, but that defense is putting in work for sure. All right. I didn't anticipate getting this young guy, this young man, an offensive award this season at all, but he balled out on Sunday. I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams, 19 for 28, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, a 142.6 passer rating. Dallas's defense certainly helped, but still. And if you watch the Monday Night Countdown, they had Stephen A. Smith on there. He said that Dallas should not be called Dallas; they should be called Alice, because
Yeah.
there's no defense right now down there in Dallas. So yeah, Caleb Williams, great game, young man. Defender of the week. Who you got?
I don't know if we'll get the same one for this one, but I got to give the Vikings Isaiah Rogers defensive back. He outscored the Bengals by himself. He picked off a ball for a touchdown, and he also had a fumble return for a touchdown, and he forced a fumble as well. Career day for Isaiah Rogers of the Vikings, man. And this is all. I think he did this all in the first half. Those touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, salute to Isaiah Rogers. A hell of a game. Probably the best game of his career, in my opinion. What about
I
you, Lee?
agree. I agree 100%. The only thing I'm going to add to it, he has the best defensive coordinator in the league. I'm going to continue to fight for this man, Brian Flores. He needs a head coaching job again. Somebody hire this man this offseason, next offseason. Special teams player of the week. Who you got?
This is a little homerism, but I got to give it up to my rookie, Jalen Lane. Had a great punt return for a touchdown against the Raiders in our convincing win. Um, had a great one. I want to see him do kickoff returns too. Honestly, I know that's Debo's job right now. He had a good return. I think it was the not. I don't can't remember if it was opening kickoff, but he kicked it. He returned
Okay,
the ball
okay.
about 69, 70 yards. But he lost some steam at the end. I kind of want to see Jalen Lane take over both of those roles. But so salute to Jalen Lane, rookie wide receiver and returner for my Commanders. Who you got?
We're not sharing notes, guys, but I agree. Jalen Lane, the only thing I'll add is he's a rookie 4th rounder out of Virginia Tech, hometown guy, and the first punt return for a touchdown. If my stats serve me correctly, since Jamison Crowder 9 years ago.
Mm.
Okay, bonehead for the Commanders. By the way, bonehead player call of the week. What's yours?
We talked about it our last show, I think Saturday. I'm sorry, that whole Kyler Murray thing with him taking a picture in a Mike Vick jersey with his pet bulldog was just such a dumb bonehead move in my opinion. I was like, I know he apologized, he took the picture down, but in my opinion, I was like, what the heck? He wasn't thinking. His head must have been filled with a bone, like a damn brontosaurus bone or something. He didn't have a brain at that point. Because I'm not sure what the hell he was thinking. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get him with this one. Yeah, you definitely got him with this one. You almost got your ass tossed out the league. You know how they feel about that. I mean, that's a bad spot to bring back up. I know he didn't do it intentionally, but come on, man. Use your head. Lord have mercy. So Kyler Murray, bonehead move of the week with that infamous picture that he deleted and apologized for. How about you?
I got a bonehead players and coaches of the week: John Harbaugh, Zach Orr, and damn near the entire Ravens defense, y'all. No answer for the Detroit run game. No halftime adjustments. They still sending them bum ass defensive back blitzes against some of the best wide receivers in the league. And let me go real quick to Marlon Humphrey, man. Last year, week 2, he had a terrible game against the Raiders. I told y'all several times the fan heckled him in the crowd, and he turned it around and he talked about his podcast. I hadn't heard anything about Marlon's podcast until between last night and before this show. I think Marlon's back more focused on that damn podcast than he is playing. His ass was the one that got beat on fourth down right there, heading into the 2 minute warning.
Yeah,
And speaking of another bonehead play, John Harbaugh, the clock stopped at like 2:02 right before the fourth quarter 2 minute warning.
yeah,
That's when they got that fourth down conversion. He's running down the sideline calling a timeout. Didn't know that the clock was going to stop again for the damn 2 minute warning. Sorry ass. Get on my damn nerves sometimes.
I feel you pain, man. Trust me. I be
Mm-hmm.
the same. I be the same way when Commanders lose. I trust you. I know what you do. I know all too well. All right, let's get to some other games that happened on week 3. Of course, we had the Bills beat the Dolphins Thursday night football, 31-21. The Panthers, everyone, shut out the Falcons 30-0. That's a huge surprise to me. Pittsburgh topped New England 21-14. Colts all over the Titans 41-20. Vikings crushed the Bengals. I mean, absolutely stomped them with Carson Wentz out there, 48-10. Bucks outlasted the Jets in a pretty good game, 29-27. My Commanders able to bounce back against the Raiders, 41-24. Jags sent the Texans to 0-3 after a 17-10 victory. Seahawks destroyed the Saints, 44-13. There was a punt return, or it was a kickoff return. It was a return for a touchdown by a rookie wide receiver Torrey Horton in that game as well. Bears dominated the Cowboys 31-14 to get their first win of 2025. And the Chiefs defeated the Giants Sunday Night Football for their first win of the season. Someone's had to go in that one, beating the Giants 22-9. Brandon, what were your thoughts on some of these other games that happened during the week?
Carolina over Atlanta. Boy, was I wrong. I said Bryce Young would
Me
have a
too.
long day, and I said how the Atlanta defense was dominating. It was completely the opposite in this one. Michael Penix Jr. had a long day. He got benched. Kirk Cousins finished out the game. Carolina's defense was the best defensive unit on the field. Colts and Titans. Everybody is talking about Daniel Jones. You mentioned him earlier. 2 words: Jonathan Taylor. Vikings over the Bengals. Thank you, Lord, and thank you, Minnesota. Anytime somebody can lose in your division, that's always good. Um, Commanders and Raiders. Some folks thought that Pete Carroll was a good hire and a good move. Same old Raiders, y'all. Same old Raiders. Besides the guy that got 3 touchdowns. Same old Raiders. Okay. The Jags and the Texans down there, I believe, was down there in Duval County. Texans still have also offensive line issues, everyone. If y'all haven't noticed it, CJ Stroud is struggling. Houston's one of the last teams to start 0-3 and make the playoffs. That was a completely different roster. I think it was like back in 2017. So I'm not personally writing them off just yet. And plus, this division outside of Indianapolis, which is still I'm not 100% sold on. It's still a little shaky in this division. But look out for this Jags defense. They're leading the league in turnovers right now. Forced turnovers after 3 weeks. Um, Seahawks and the Saints, man, that game was over damn near in the first couple minutes, man. I think they was
Yeah.
up 21-0 in no time. And the Cowboys and the Bears, man, the Bears really surprised me how Caleb Williams was able to move the ball downfield, especially against the blitz. Um, but the Cowboys defense, man, it's one word, trash. What are your thoughts?
Speaking of the Bears Cowboys game, I saw a funny headline that said Matt Eberflus finally unlocks Caleb Williams' potential as Bears QB torches ex-coach's Cowboys defense. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, Dallas, it ain't looking too good, man. That secondary's got some issues out there. They getting the party thrown on them almost every week, it seems right now. Panthers shutting out the Falcons. I don't know too many people saw that coming. I know people were saying Bryce Young is undefeated against the Falcons. He keeps the streak going, but damn, I wasn't expecting that kind of performance. Phoenix looked like a wide-eyed rookie out there throwing that pick six. Definitely
Yep.
not a good game for him. He's managing the game so far, but this game definitely need to make some plays, and he wasn't able to. I was very surprised by that one. Glad my Commanders are able to bounce back and come back and win. Another dominant performance from the D line. We played against bad O lines, and we have been dominating. We did it against the Giants, and we did the same thing against the Raiders. Geno Smith was running for his life early and often. Ashton Genty didn't do too much out there. Only thing is, we lost some secondary pieces. Will Harris, I believe he broke his fibulas, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Marshawn Lattimore, he went out the game, think he had a concussion. Trey Amos, I think he had a calf issue. And then I think my guy, Terry McLaurin, went out with a hamstring injury. So hopefully these guys are able to play next week against the Falcons. But I was like, damn, man, this all happened late in the game, too, when the Raiders started to have some garbage time touchdowns. I was like, Lord have mercy, help us next week. That Bucks Jets game, that was a pretty good game. I thought the Jets almost pulled a rabbit out the hat, blocking that field goal and returning it for a touchdown in the game. You see Aaron Glenn celebrate down the sidelines. That was real late in the game too. I was happy for him, but Tampa Bay was able to come back. Your boy Bake was able to drive down the field, hitting Ibuka for a catch. And they were to kick a game-winning field goal to go to 3-0. They got a big matchup against the Eagles next week, so see how that goes. But yeah, NFL, man, this week definitely showed it. You got to play the games. You see a game like Packers Browns, Panthers Falcons. You see games like that, you think, oh yeah, we know how it's gonna go. Wrong. You have no clue how it's gonna go. You can only imagine and predict, but you never know what you're gonna get week in, week out with the NFL. One of the reasons why I love watching these games, man. But yeah, great week of football. Can't wait for the next week for sure.
Yeah, Buka's looked like he might be offensive rookie of the year. I went with Ashton Genty, but he's coming on strong, man. I know they have some injuries right now. I think Mike Evans, again, he's going to be out. Chris Godwin's still out. Um, so he's going to even have a even bigger role down there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And I think they have a very big game coming up this week, which we'll be discussing when we see you all again later this week. I think they're in Philly or playing the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for watching our Week 3 NFL Recap Show. We appreciate all your love and support. Meantime, please hit the subscribe button on your screen. Follow us on social media, on X, formerly known as Twitter, Podcast B&E, and on IG at B&E Podcast. We'll be back Friday after Seattle and Arizona on Thursday Night Football. Until next time, love one another.